Hi there, Libra. Welcome to your August 2025 love reading. It's Rain and Moon from Tarot Alchemy with Rain and Moon. My main channel is called Rain and Moon Astrology, so please check that out as well. And even if you don't really love the astrology that much, I do some tarot readings over there, at least for now. So let's see. Sorry for the competing background, but I didn't want to just have wood as my, what I put it on. I don't know. It just seems so bare. I'm picking, I'm picking an additional card because of I'll put that to the side. But a reverse card, it just seems of course we are in Mercury retrograde, and so things are kind of sometimes feel upside down, I guess. The heart of the matter is the Four of Pentacles. This is a person who may have financial security or be really obsessed with financial security. This can be someone who is so obsessed that you can see he's hugging the coins, as they also call pentacles. And the pentacles relate to the earth element and things of the earth like money and possessions and your body, health, sex, things like that. And so when this card is the centerpiece, then that is kind of like, we're talking about love here. So is that a primary concern? So how would this play out? Sometimes I do readings just for couples and sometimes I do them just for singles. This one is open for everyone. If you're single, is your pursuit of making money kind of like eclipsing everything else in your life? The last card I picked was the card of Temperance, which is like the balance, especially between the spiritual and the material. And so maybe there's too much emphasis on career, job, making money. Also, potential partner. Are you looking at somebody for how much money they make, and then you start dating that person if they make like more than average, let's say, and you don't like the way that they act? And I'm not saying, you know what I mean, that if you are affluent, you're going to be acting in a bad way. But I'm just saying, let's say that has been your experience. That can really show you something, because a lot of times people have to get back to the heart of the matter. Like, what are you looking for? And you may be able to provide for yourself. You might be looking to someone outside of yourself for doing what you're perfectly capable of doing. But sometimes people say, well, I want us both to be making a lot of money, because I don't want to have to support that person. I don't want to have to be the one. And I think women are like this a lot because we've been conditioned that men are supposed to make more money than women. Now I'm Gen X, so the younger generations may see the woman as the one who's making the money. So maybe if you're a Gen Z person and you're dating, I don't even know what the oldest Gen Z person, how old they would be, 30 maybe? I don't know. So, because you might not even be an age where there would be like, that kind of serious type of job or something. But yeah, I think maybe you could be close to 30 or so. And maybe the women are the ones that are making more money typically than their male counterparts. And I'm just using the male female relationship because it gives the good dynamics, the symbolism of the polarities, you know what I mean? So the point is that we're socialized to think that, a certain person is supposed to do this and that. And we're all socialized differently, obviously, like I just said. But whatever it is that's in your mind, that could be a self-limiting belief, when it comes to looking for love. And if you are currently in a relationship, it's possible that you're feeling very uncomfortable about your spouse's, your partner's behavior with finances, and it makes you cling on to it even more, cling to the money. And in the past position, we have the Queen of Cups. This can be like psychic tendencies. So you may sense that something is wrong with the financial side of life. Also, this is a card that is about the mother. This is a card of like great nurturing. So if you're a woman who wants to become a mother, you may look at the financial part and say, I don't think this person would be a good partner for me because I make more money as it is, and I'm the one who's going to be giving birth. So you might be thinking, because I have like another card that's a pentacle, so you might be thinking in more practical terms, and it's making you think twice about maintaining a relationship. What crosses you is the World card. The World card is the last card of the major arcana, and it speaks to the end of an era. And it might be a situation where, let's say you've been married and you realize deep within that something is not right, you're not compatible, whatever it is. And by the way, we can also talk about the pentacles as maybe being like stable in general, not feeling the sense of, if you're with somebody who has like a mood disorder, who tends to be unhinged on a regular basis, and you're looking for more of that stability, that could be what is perhaps creating unhappiness within yourself, where you're like, I don't like the way my life is going. And yet you may be afraid to admit it to the point where you're going to break off the relationship, because the World card really speaks to endings, and you may be ambivalent about endings. There might still be some good things about that person. If you're someone who is single, this could be a card of the World card, rejecting the ending of something can mean that you are clinging to the past. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Now, it's interesting because one of the themes in a tarot book that I have is graduation day. And she is holding what I thought were batons, but they're actually diploma scrolls. If I take that even literally, it doesn't have to be, but maybe you're graduating college and you had somebody like a college sweetheart, but you realize that it's not going to work in the real world. It was okay while you were pulling all-nighters and eating pizza all night, and you just had kind of a friendship, but you don't think that it's going to translate into a permanent relationship. So you could be refusing to admit something like that. Like you're in this transition of life, and that person can't come with you, in other words. The higher message is the Seven of Pentacles. I would say, here's something. I would say, like, if you have met an earth sign, or you're with, I would say it's mostly for the singles. If you've met an earth sign, the earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. And I would say Capricorn is the best bet because you're both cardinal signs, so you have that kind of sexy friction of a square. Maybe you're very different, so you're tempted to throw in the towel regarding the potential relationship, and maybe you haven't given enough time. But for people that are coupled, it's possible that you are kind of fooling yourself into thinking that you just need to have more time and then it'll all work out. And it's kind of like this delusional belief, in other words, because that can happen too. What's coming in? The Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth, cutting through illusion. So that's getting rid of denial. Maybe there's some outer event that really clarifies something for you, and you can no longer be pretend that it's not true, that you have to see things as they truly are. The outcome is the Empress in reverse. The Empress connects to the planet Venus, and you're one of the signs, along with Taurus, that is connected to this card. It's funny because I had this back and forth with someone who was saying it's not just Taurus, it's Libra, and I had just found information that it was Taurus, even though it was connected to Venus. It's called the Earth Mother card, and in reverse. And the upshot is that I did find something that said Libra, and so I was like, okay, I will accept that. So we have two cards here that are connected to motherhood, and we could say if you're a man, parenthood. So this is a card that I got reversed. And this is the card of feminine wiles when it's reversed, where a woman misuses the feminine energy, which we call the divine feminine, to try to manipulate. Now, I think this can run the gamut. I don't think it just has to be like seducing someone. But like if you have some kind of inkling that your partner is abusing the finances, your first impulse may be to cry or to, act like they're doing something to you. If you are someone who wants to be with someone, maybe you're too materialistic that way. And I don't just mean materialism because of that. You might be not respecting the material resources for some reason, and that makes you excessively preoccupied with them, and that will affect your life, even your love life, because you're going to judge everything with that standard, and that could really limit the people that are best for you. So I picked an additional card, the Temperance card. This is 1 foot in the water, the spiritual, and 1 foot on land, the earth. Balancing spiritual and material, giving each their due. And that also applies to somebody that you are thinking of, being with. Or do they have like a spiritual outlook? They don't have to share the same religion as you, although I do think that when people have very different religious or philosophical beliefs, that they can clash, and you have to definitely check that out. But what about the person who doesn't believe in anything, and they're just kind of living for pleasure's sake? You might kind of relate to that in a certain way. Libra being ruled by Venus, and Venus can be pleasure seeking. But ultimately, when you're in that kind of relationship, you're going to face a lot of, I was going to say trials and tribulations, but hopefully not that severe. But you are going to face things together. And how you frame the events of your life matter. And so being with somebody who can put things in a philosophical perspective is immensely helpful. All right, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, be it astrology, tarot, or both, please click on the link below for more information. Thanks for watching. Bye.